Impact confirmed. The Slayer has been activated.
Demonic threat level increasing.
Hold the line!
All the power of hell cowering before one man.
id Software presents Doom, The Dark Ages. Available now on Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 5, and PC.
Rated M for mature.
The Other Side of Midnight.
77 WABC.
Local Spotlight.
Good morrow, everyone. This is The Other Side of Midnight on 77 WABC. I'm Frank Morano. You know, when you hear about a scandal like this one involving Congressman Anthony D'Esposito of Long Island, it's hard not to think, haven't we seen this movie before? You've got a guy who preaches about ethics and accountability, leading the charge to oust George Santos for his misdeeds, even before any conviction. And yet, here we are learning that D'Esposito himself might be the biggest hypocrite in the room. Let's break it down. D'Esposito is accused of having an affair with a woman named Devin Foss and then hiring her for a cushy taxpayer-funded gig at $2,000 a month. Now, if that's not bad enough, he also brought his fiance's daughter into the same office, paying her an even nicer $3,800 a month. That's right. His fiance's daughter and his mistress working side by side, all while you and I foot the bill. You can't make this stuff up, folks. It's the classic tale of do as I say, not as I do. D'Esposito was quick to wag his finger at George Santos, but it turns out he was knee-deep in his own mess. The payments to both women conveniently stopped when his fiancée found out about the affair, which tells you all you need to know. This isn't just a guy who made a mistake. This is someone who's been playing both sides, using his office as his personal soap opera, all while trying to convince us he's a crusader for the people of Long Island. Let's not kid ourselves. This is the kind of nonsense that costs Republicans seats, and it couldn't come at a worse time. D'Esposito won his district by the skin of his teeth, and Biden carried it by 14 points in 2020. We can't afford this kind of self-inflicted wound, especially not in a district that's up for grabs. He's given Democrats all the ammunition they need to flip this seat red to blue, and he's done it in spectacular fashion. What's more insulting is the blatant hypocrisy. The man stood on his moral high horse, demanding accountability from George Santos, yet he's knee-deep in the kind of behavior that would make even Frank Underwood blush. And isn't it always the loudest critics who have the most to hide? The ones who shout the most about integrity are often the first to break their own rules. D'Esposito wants us to believe he's fighting for the issues that matter to Long Islanders, but when he can't even keep his own house in order, how can he be trusted to handle the affairs of the people? If he's willing to deceive his own fiancée, if he's willing to put his mistress on the payroll, what else is he willing to do? What other ethical shortcuts might he be taking? So as we head into this next election, it's worth asking, is Anthony D'Esposito the kind of guy you want representing you?
Beam me up!
To be continued.
If you're having problems with your septic system and you're tired of spending so much money each year to have it pumped, then SeptiClean is the answer for you. SeptiClean is an advanced specially formulated blend of bacteria used in the treatment of home and commercial septic systems. The breakdown of waste in your system relies on biological activity of naturally occurring bacteria. SeptiClean restores the natural biological process in your septic system and boosts the existing biological activity. SeptiClean is completely safe on all plumbing and can help prevent expensive emergencies in pumping. SeptiClean has approximately 6 to 100 times the bacteria count of other leading off-the-shelf brands in a 1-year supply. SeptiClean comes in a water-soluble pack, which you flush down the toilet once a month with no mess or stress. Save time, money, and maintenance on your septic system. Find SeptiClean at Emporium True Value Hardware on Main Street in Sag Harbor or visit micro-tab.com. That's micro-tabb.com. Micro-tabb.com. The Other Side of Midnight.
77 WABC.
Local Spotlight.
Good Good morrow, everyone. This is The Other Side of Midnight on 77 WABC. I'm Frank Morano. Thank you for listening. You know, it's always a bit of a surprise when you see a poll like this. According to the latest Siena College poll, Governor Kathy Hochul is now officially less popular than Donald Trump in New York State. And if that doesn't raise some eyebrows, I don't know what will. Now, I'll be the first to admit that I don't put much stock in these polls. They're a snapshot in time, and we all know they can be pretty misleading, and I have a lot of doubts about how the methodology of polling has kept up with how people communicate these days. I have my doubts about this one, to be honest. But here's the thing. It doesn't matter if I believe it or not. What matters is if Governor Hochul and the state Democratic Party believe it. And given the fact that Hochul's last election was a real nail-biter, you've got to think that they're paying very close attention to these numbers. There's already been plenty of chatter that I've been hearing privately about Hochul possibly looking for an exit strategy. I've even heard rumors that Kamala Harris, if she wins the presidency, Hochul might be angling for an appointment as the ambassador to Ireland. I mean, who wouldn't want to make that kind of a move? And with poll numbers like these, it just might be the soft landing spot that Hochul needs. But let's talk about what happens if she decides to step aside or if the Democrats push her out the door. Who's next in line? Maybe Attorney General Tish James. She's got a pretty solid track record in terms of Democratic bona fides and has proven she can win statewide. Or could we see a comeback attempt from Andrew Cuomo? Stranger things have definitely happened in New York. And of course, there's always the possibility of another contender we haven't even considered yet. One thing's for sure. Governor Hochul's chances of being the Democratic nominee in 2026 just took a major hit. Poll numbers like these make it very difficult to mount a strong campaign. And in politics, perception is often reality. Plus, when you've got people like Nancy Pelosi publicly blaming you for losing the House of Representatives, it's hard to imagine party leaders rallying around you for another go. It's still a long way until 2026, and anything can happen. But if these numbers don't start turning around for Hochul, I think we're going to see the Democratic Party looking for a new face to lead New York State. The question is, who will that be? For now, all eyes are on Kathy Hochul, and you can bet she's feeling the pressure. We'll see how this one plays out. One thing is certainly for sure, though, as you could bet Governor Hochul is feeling the pressure. In New York State, politics is never, ever boring.
Beam me up!
To be continued.
ChatGPT Plus is free for college students through May. Here's the thing. You've got a lot to do between now and then. Studying for finals, writing papers, trying to keep your life on track. And ChatGPT can help with all of it. It can quiz you for your econ exam, make a study guide from your French notes, plan out your meals and study breaks. It can get really specific on how you like to learn. It can even help you come up with ways to stop procrastinating. So from now until summer break, take advantage of all the ways ChatGPT can make your life easier. Restrictions apply.
The Other Side of Midnight.
77 WABC.
Local Spotlight.
Let's once again talk about the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, better known as the MDC, because once again, it's living up to its reputation as an absolute disaster zone for anyone unlucky enough to be held there. This time, the spotlight is on Sean Combs, who's awaiting trial on federal sex trafficking charges. But even more disturbing than the charges against him are the inhumane conditions he's facing inside the MDC. Conditions that are so horrific, they're barely fit for human beings, let alone people who are still presumed innocent under our legal system. But Combs is not alone. Take the case of Dwayne Pickett, a 29-year-old inmate awaiting sentencing on a gun trafficking case. This man pleaded for medical help 17 times over the course of 8 months. 17 times. And you know what he got for his troubles? Advil. A whole lot of Advil. Eventually, a tumor the size of a small orange, was bulging out of his leg before they finally got around to taking him to the hospital. By that point, the damage was done, and the cancer was spreading through his body like wildfire. The MDC's crack medical team? Well, let's just say they're not exactly House or Grey's Anatomy material. The nurse practitioner and doctor responsible for this colossal failure were the same dynamic duo that botched another cancer diagnosis earlier this year. If it wasn't so tragic, it actually might be comedic, like some bizarre Groundhog Day episode where the same medical disaster keeps repeating itself. But this isn't a sitcom or a movie. It's real life, and people are suffering. And this isn't just about medical negligence. MDC Brooklyn has seen multiple stabbings, including 2 that turned fatal. It's been described as a torture chamber, and honestly, that's not much of a stretch. So why do we keep allowing this place to operate as if it's a 19th century dungeon? If you think this kind of neglect only happens to the guilty, think again. Remember, these people are pre-trial detainees. They haven't even been convicted of a crime yet. Innocent until proven guilty. Not at the MDC. Here's a fun fact. The MDC doesn't even allow people to serve their sentences there. That's right. If you're convicted, they ship you off to an actual prison. That's a recent change. So why on earth do we tolerate people who are technically innocent being stuck in this pit of despair while they await their day in court? The judge overseeing Pickett's case read all 17 of his desperate pleas for medical attention aloud in court and described them as stomach churning. If that doesn't make your blood boil, I don't know what will. If you're in the MDC now, write to me. Let me know how you're doing. Frank.Morano@WABCRadio.com.
Beam me up!
To be continued.
Fellas, you know Degree Cool Rush deodorant, right? Well, last year they changed the formula, and guys were mad about it. One dude even started a petition. So guess what? Degree heard us, admitted they messed up, and brought the original Cool Rush scent back exactly how it was. And it's in Walmart, Target, and other stores now for under $4. So grab some and remember why its cool, crisp, and fresh scent made it the #1 men's antiperspirant for the last decade. Degree Cool Rush is back, and it smells like victory for all of us.
The Other Side of Midnight.
77 WABC.
Local Spotlight.
The recent revelations about Andrew Cuomo's handling of nursing home deaths are nothing short of outrageous. This man was entrusted with public office and the lives of vulnerable New Yorkers during the height of the COVID pandemic, and he clearly lied about what happened. Families who lost loved ones deserve accountability, and Cuomo, quite frankly, should face charges for his actions. And I don't say that lightly. But if you heard Marlena Shivo in the 2 o'clock hour, it sounds like Cuomo is angling for some sort of a political comeback here. And according to a bombshell report by the New York Post, enraged families of COVID victims are calling for a full investigation into Cuomo's role in editing a state report that deliberately undercounted nursing home deaths. Let's not forget that when Cuomo testified before a congressional panel, we covered it at the time, he claimed he hadn't seen the report. Yet, emails now show that not only had he seen it, he was actively editing it, making changes that shifted blame onto nursing home staff and visiting families. This was not just misleading, it was a blatant attempt to dodge responsibility and cover up the consequences of his own policies. Peter Arbini, Vivian Zayas, and Janice Dean, along with many others, are demanding that the Department of Justice take action. As they rightly pointed out in their statement, quote, if it is found that he knowingly misled Congress and the American people or interfered with the congressional inquiry, he must be held accountable under the law. They're absolutely right. No one, especially someone in such a powerful position, should be above the law. The Cuomo camp, predictably, tries to brush this off as politicizing the pandemic. But let's be clear, this isn't about politics. It's about the truth. It's about the thousands of families who lost loved ones and deserve to know that their suffering wasn't swept under the rug to protect a politician's image. And the fact that Cuomo wasn't under oath during his testimony testimony doesn't give him a free pass to lie. He was warned that knowingly making false statements could lead to prosecution, and yet he chose to mislead Congress and, by extension, all of us. We've seen time and again how Cuomo has attempted to manipulate the narrative around his handling of the pandemic, and it's high time we stopped letting him get away with it. Assemblyman Ron Kim, a Democrat who's been one of the strongest voices in holding Cuomo accountable, said it best. Andrew Cuomo has consistently lied and gaslit the public in pursuit of his book deal and political ambitions. This isn't just about Cuomo's ego or ambitions. It's about a systemic failure that cost people their lives.
Beam me up!
To be continued.
If you're having problems with your septic system and you're tired of spending so much money each year to have it pumped, then SeptiClean is the answer for you. SeptiClean is an advanced specially formulated blend of bacteria used in the treatment of home and commercial septic systems. The breakdown of waste in your system relies on biological activity of naturally occurring bacteria. SeptiClean restores the natural biological process in your septic system and boosts the existing biological activity. SeptiClean is completely safe on all plumbing and can help prevent expensive emergencies in pumping. SeptiClean has approximately 6 to 100 times the bacteria count of other leading off-the-shelf brands in a 1-year supply. SeptiClean comes in a water-soluble pack, which you flush down the toilet once a month with no mess or stress. Save time, money, and maintenance on your septic system. Find SeptiClean at Emporium True Value Hardware on Main Street in Sag Harbor, or visit micro-tab.com. That's micro-tabb.com. Micro-tabb.com.